In this video, we're going to be looking at basic factorising, what factorising is and what you're expected to do when you have this type of question. So factorising, the word factor means find a number that will divide into another number without a remainder. So 10 has a factor of 1 and 10, 2 and 5. They will all divide into 10 without a remainder. 3 doesn't work. So if we're looking at 10 and 20, and we do 1, 20, 2, 10, 4, and 5, then we're looking at the highest common factor, which is in a video later on, but essentially we're looking at the numbers that go into both of these, like 1, 2, 5, and 10. They all divide into both. We want to choose the biggest number, the highest common factor, which in this case would be 10. So let's say we have 10x plus 20. The process of factorising is essentially looking for numbers that go into both 10 and 20, and we pull that number out and place it in front of some brackets. So 10 and 20, we've done this to the side here. We're picking out the highest common factor, which is 10, and we place that in front of the brackets. And now we ask ourselves a question: what multiplies by 10 to get 10x? So 10 times something gives me 10x. And that thing that goes inside the box there would be an x. So 10 times x is 10x. And then we move to the next term. 10 times something gives me positive 20. So we need to multiply by positive 2, like this. So factorising essentially is the opposite of expanding. Expanding means multiplying this out, and factorising is essentially dividing, but not many students will think of it like that. It's more what multiplies by 10 to get 20, what multiplies by 10 to get 10x. So let's try another one of those. Let's say we've got 5y plus 15. What's the biggest number that goes into 5 and 15? We don't have to necessarily do this down the side, but just very quickly, we've got 1 and 5 for 5, and 1 and 15, and 3 and 5 for 15. Okay, so 1 times 5 gives me 5, 1 times 15 for 15, and 3 times 5 for 15. So the biggest number is 5. So that will come out of the brackets, and then we ask ourselves what multiplies by 5 to get 5y. We need a y in there. And what multiplies by 5 to give positive 15? So we need plus 3. And you can see that they kind of go together here. The 5 and the 3 pair together. So at first, doing this process of writing out the factors may help you. Or you could use the cherry trees. If you've done these prime factor ideas, we're looking at the cherry trees and we're picking the highest common factor. Okay. What happens if I don't choose the highest common factor? So let's go back to our first example, and instead of picking 10, we pick a lower factor. So let's say we choose the 5. When we do our brackets, 5 times 2, so we need 2x in here to make the 10x, and we need 5 times positive 4 to get the 20. And what you might notice is that when we look at the brackets here, 2x plus 4 can also be factorized. So 2x plus 4 would be 2 brackets x plus 2 when I factorize it. And that's fine, but in the questions it will say factorize fully. And that means taking out the biggest number. So when you see that word fully, we have to pull out this highest common factor, and we should get in the habit of doing that as often as we can, because that is what we're expected to do. We don't want to factorize this twice. Okay. Now, the next level up of this would be to see what happens if we have x squared plus 2x. Because in this case, you might look and say, well, I mean, 1 and 2, we don't usually have that 1 there. That's an invisible 1. They don't really have anything apart from 1 that would work. And if we did this, that hasn't really helped us at all. So we're not doing 1. We never pull out 1. But if we do the cherry tree idea, this is x and x, and this one would be 2 times x. You might be able to see here that they both have an x as a factor. X can go into both of these. So when there's no number, look to the letters and see if there's a letter that can go into both. So in this case, we're picking x to go in the front, and then we can use this cherry tree idea to see, well, what's left over? We've got an x here, so x times x makes our x squared, and we got the 2 left over here, so x times plus 2 will give me plus 2x. We need these sort of signs in here to make it work properly. So x times x and x times plus 2. Finally, just as a kind of extension of this, we might have something like 4x squared plus 20x. And here we can see from the numbers 4 and 20, we have a highest common factor of 4 and 20. And we also have an x in both. So the cherry tree idea can really help us when we break these down, x and x, and then 20 would be 20 times x, and 20 is 4 and 5, which is 2 and 2. And so when we're looking for the highest common factor, we're looking at the pairs. There's a 2 and a 2, a 2 and a 2, and an x in both. So 2, 2 and x, 2 times x would be 4x. Our brackets would go here, and what's left over for the first one? X. So 4x times x is 4x squared, and the only thing that's left over for this one is a 5, positive 5. Okay, so this cherry tree idea, it might look like it's a little bit crazy at first, but as you get used to it, you won't need to do this. You'll be able to see like 4 is the biggest number, and I can see an x in both, but sometimes it just helps you to see what's left over that will go in the brackets.